Yingjie tilted his neck and drained his glass. He put down his glass, turned his head to tell Zhu Yanchang, who was hand-guessing with a hot girl, that he was leaving, but then he heard Ah Lun laugh loudly to Zhao Honghui. "You be careful, later Miss Qin gives you a green hat." Zhao Honghui laughed, tone of voice disdain. "She is the only daughter, still do not know how many shares of Yongkai can she have in hand. We are all adults, as long as the benefits are enough, each playing their own is okay." Another person next to him laughed. "Ah Hui means he wants to give Missy a green hat." Zhao Honghui laughed. "Do we have to keep our bodies clean? Don't joke about it." A crowd of people laughed out loud. Yingjie was extremely angry. With a black face took out his phone and texted Qin Yufei, "Remember to remind your father that no matter who you marry, you must sign a prenuptial agreement." Qin Yufei is putting on a mask in the room. Her face twitched when she saw the message. What is this guy mad about? Yingjie on his side heard Zhao Honghui still talking. Perhaps the group were a little drunk. Perhaps it was originally they have such a bad character. The topic played on Qin Yufei. "People say she's hard to chase." What's hard to chase? Ah Lun. In fact, women, like Qin Yufei, a woman like this, money she has more than enough. What she wants is a face. If you look as handsome as me, she'll probably go with you. Get lost. Ah Lun was annoyed and cursed. The crowd laughed again. Zhao Honghui then said, "She is not difficult to chase, is just the temper is really big, as if nothing in the eyes, put on airs. She is Qin Yufei, I can put up with it. After marriage, I see how she can still be arrogant. Then there must really be the day she married you." Yingjie couldn't help but speak up again and sneer. He put the phone back in his pocket, really do not know what else to say to Qin Yufei. The woman loves to save face. If she knows that her boyfriend is saying these bullshit words in front of so many people, she will definitely lose face. He has already given the warning, she will understand the meaning of it. When you get a girlfriend, you should treat her well, while showing off that she's your girlfriend and talking badly about her to your buddies. Is this still a man? Yingjie, what do you mean? Zhao Honghui turned his head to glare at Yingjie. The ones who made fun of him earlier were all close friends, and it was fine for everyone to play around, but he was not familiar with Yingjie, and it made him uncomfortable for someone who was not familiar to say such things, and he could hear that it was genuine sarcasm. "You said it yourself," Qin Yufei putting on airs, proving that she did not fall for you. "Also, is your family's turnover so bad? To earn a fortune by hugging a woman's thigh?" Yingjie did not mind speaking more nasty. Zhao Honghui slammed the table and cursed, "You're fucking seek death." Zhu Yanchang heard the bickering over there and jumped, and a few other buddies came over to separate the two. Okay, it's all buddies, just kidding." Yingjie took out his wallet, dumped his share of the drink money on the table, said sorry to Yingjie, and then turned to leave. Before walking a few steps, he heard Zhao Honghui still shouting, "Who am I, to rely on women? It's Qin Yufei who won't let go of me, almost kneeling and licking my toes and begging me to use her." Yingjie stopped in his tracks. That moment, Qin Yufei's clear eyes came to his mind. She was sitting in a shabby fast food restaurant staring stupidly at the starlight of the store across the street to say goodbye to the pain in the past. She gnashing her teeth when she said about the betrayal of the cheap man. She was sad for her dead ex-best friend. She said, "Yingjie, I told you the secret that you cannot tell others." She was so straightforward that make him choked. Yingjie did not know what he was thinking. He turned around and punched Zhao Honghui hard in the face. Zhao Honghui let out a scream, and before he could react to what was going on, he was smashed with the chair into the drink stand by the side of the box. His friend beside him sternly shouted, "Yingjie, what are you mad about?" His fist also swung at Yingjie. Yingjie received a punch to the face. The pain made his blood surge, without regard to anything, returned a fierce punch. At this time Zhu Yanchang also rushed over, kicked away a person who pounced on Yingjie. The two sides of the friends have been pushing and kicking, a group fight. Yingjie was shocked, quickly led the staff to stop the fight. He can't afford to offend one of these gentlemen, and can't have any serious incident in his place. But how to stop this fight? Everyone drank a little too much. Before they fight, they bragging and being sarcastic too much, and now they fighting. Everyone became mania. In the end, things got so bad that some of the guests outside called the police, and Yingjie hurriedly organized a safe retreat for everyone. Fortunately, The gentlemen are not completely giddy, no one wants to get into trouble with the authorities. Although they can play a little bit, but cannot afford to be ashamed. Although it was Gu Yingjie who started it, but to be honest Zhao Honghui really did not dare to do anything to him openly, and this also involves Qin Yufei, can't make it too big. So no one dares to do anything, it is important to disperse first. Yingjie clean up the aftermath, back home when it was already 5 a.m. Yinting came out to go to the toilet and was shocked to see her brother with a face full of injuries and rushed to ask what had happened. Yingjie knows his sister's relationship with Qin Yufei, and also thanked Qin Yufei has been a lot of care for his sister, even his family's printing business. There are also a lot of Qin Yufei referrals. That Zhao Honghui said is really too much, so he told Yinting about the matter, at the end said, I cannot stop what people say in my store, but you talk to Qin Yufei, that man is really not a good thing, it is better not to go out with him again. Yinting originally had a good feeling about Gu Yingjie, although she already gave up, but heard it was Gu Yingjie who fought and got quite concerned, and asked more questions. The next day, Yinting called Qin Yufei and told her about the fight between Gu Yingjie and Zhao Honghui. Qin Yufei did not comment on how lowly Zhao Honghui was, but asked more questions about Gu Yingjie's injury. This topic Yinting likes very much. Gu Yingjie is simply the Prince Charming in her heart. She said all the things she asked from Yingjie. Gu Yingjie scolded him, said girlfriends should be properly loved. Say bad things to friends about their girlfriends, is still a man or something. The surname Zhao angry enough. Gu Yingjie is really too awesome. Qin Yufei could imagine many pink heart-shaped bubbles puffing up around Yinting while listening to her tone on the phone. Xiao Ting you still like Gu Yingjie a lot. Of course, handsome, elegant and gentle man who does not like, but I just admire a little. I know it is impossible with him. Yufei, you must not make arrangements for me, I really understand. Previously caused you to fight with him, I am really embarrassed that he do not like me like this, cannot be forced. People do not like me like this, cannot be forced. I have a new target now, and I'll bring it to you when I get him. Bring him to me after you get him. Are you afraid that I will scold him away? Yinting laughed out loud. You are really understanding, Yufei. Ugh, when you bring him here, remember to ask him to bring gifts, or I will scold him off when I am not satisfied. Yinting laughed again. Okay, sure. If he bullies me, I will rely on you to help me. The two girls chatted for a few more minutes before hanging up the phone. Qin Yufei was very distracted at work this day, and she struggled with whether to contact Gu Yingjie. He helped her, stood up for her, fought for her, she should say thank you to him anyway. But she made up her mind not to cross paths with him again. She felt like she had been holding out for a long time, but in fact, when you do the math, it had only been less than 4 months since she returned from the United States. She wanted to give him a call, badly. With such a struggle, the productivity of the day is simply zero. Qin Yufei stared at the document that was open all day but did not have several lines written. Knowing that she had to work overtime at home tonight, she was puffed up, blaming Gu Yingjie. Back home in the night, that document still did not have a few more lines in it. Qin Yufei hesitated for a long time, finally could not hold back. She sent a text message to Gu Yingjie. I heard that you were bravely injured. This sentence is repeatedly reviewed, revised over and over again and sent. After clicking send, Qin Yufei was a little nervous. She threw her phone aside, somewhat hoped Gu Yingjie ignore her, do not reply her. But not long after, the phone rang, not a text message, but an incoming call. Qin Yufei stared at the phone for a long time and finally picked it up. Gu Yingjie. Qin Yufei, who did you hear that from? Someone said it anyway. So what? What do you mean so what? I'm wounded. What do you have to say? Thank you. Didn't you have to rush over to serve the wounded? He joked. You think too much. I am a rich white girl who is pampered and ignorant. Why would I serve someone? I'm also a well-bred and very sophisticated handsome man. I'm very picky about serving. I can't use you. That's great. I'm glad we are on the same page again. Gu Yingjie was again infuriated by her. White rich girl you remember not to date scum again, oh. Not kidding with you, really don't go out with him again. This kind of person is capable of doing anything. In case he give you a drug and want to rape you and blackmail, to whom will you cry then? I'm not kidding, I'm not going to cry. I'm going to kick him in the balls, make him useless to cry to anyone. After a long time, Gu Yingjie said helplessly, Qin Yufei, are you a woman? I am. So I will never hold my breath to be hurt and hide and cry. I must fight back to be worthy of the identity of a woman. Okay. Lady Warrior, I'll call you for the next fight. Good. I'll call Mishi to go with me. Mishi was a martial artist. Bring her is better than 10 Gu Yingjie. Both sides of the phone are suddenly silent. The pretend words are said, and for a while do not know what else to say. Qin Yufei held the phone, feeling her heart beating a little faster. It's time to hang up. Greetings have been greeted. He sounded no problem at all. She can completely rest assured. But she always wanted to say something more. Ah, by the way, I saw the report. Your girlfriend is very beautiful. Ah. Yeah, he responded simply, his voice simple and gentle. Qin Yufei smiled and said, see you then. Bye. Saying goodbye, but no one immediately hung up. A 2-second pause, and find each other actually did not hang up first, and then hurriedly, at the same time hung up. Gu Yingjie gently touched the corner of his eyes, painfully sucked in a breath. This woman really too realistic. Thought he had already got a girlfriend before she was willing to give him a call. It's really too realistic, not cute at all. A woman with no conscience. Qin Yufei hung up the phone and froze for a while, then dialed the housekeeper downstairs using the internal line and asked her to make a fried fish fillet she wanted to eat. Soon the snack fried fish fillet is ready. Qin Yufei herself took a bottle of tomato sauce from the refrigerator, sitting in front of the room's floor-to-ceiling windows while watching the stars and eating. She remembered that in the United States, she went back to see those starlights. Gu Yingjie sat next to her and listened to her story. He snapped and stumbled with her, making her sadness and grief a little easier. She has to admit, although not in the plan, but his companionship did support her through those difficult days. That night she laughed at the entertainment show, but he said to her, actually, if you want to cry, just cry, I'll pretend I didn't see it. She was angry and stared at him. Why should she cry? Why should she cry? She was an arrogant and spoiled young lady. How could she cry? He added, Qin Yufei, in fact, I do not like you at all, but I like it when you are happy. If you want to smile, smile happily. If you are not happy, don't force yourself to smile. Isn't that tiring? She kept staring at him. She wanted to scold him but didn't know what to scold. Because he was right, she had been laughing all day and she really felt tired. She smiled, but didn't feel much joy. Her heart was hollow from the hard laughs that dug it up and she felt tired. But what the hell was he talking about? What he said about not liking her, but like it when she's happy. No logic, nonsense, and yet, she actually found it very pleasant. Flowery words, but that's all. She wanted to scold him. He's a playboy, don't put the same routine of coaxing women on her. But his eyes were so gentle, as if he really cared for her. She was somewhat impressed yet very angry because he said he didn't like her. She was obviously very likable and he dared to say he didn't like her. She kept glaring at him while he didn't look away. She remembered that his eyes were very gentle, clean and heartwarming. She didn't know what was wrong with her, but she suddenly reached out her arms, wrapped around his neck and kissed him. She thought he would have pushed her away, but he didn't. The kiss was beautiful, so beautiful that she had no idea what she was doing. All she remembers is that she couldn't let go of him, and they kissed for a long time together, and then they went to bed. Again, the first mistake could be blamed on Mishi and Chen Ying because they stood him up and they're so angry they drank too much wine in the restaurant. But this time she believed there was only her to blame. She was afraid to think what he would think. Maybe he thought she was casual. She had no way to explain, because he hadn't said anything bad, and she certainly wouldn't have picked the words herself. What's more, she also felt that she had acted really casual and cheap. She has always felt that girls should treat their bodies well and have feelings before going to bed, which is a reasonable process. But her first bitter heart is dedicated to the scum. She thought that they will be together for the rest of their lives. The results are not. At that time, you could say you were blind. Now she's sleeping with a man who says he doesn't like her. Isn't she casual? She's really a bitch. She hates herself. The result of self-loathing is emotional outbursts, breakdowns, and after that there is a third time. Then again, sanity returned to their heads and they both felt that something was terribly wrong and had to be stopped. So they hurriedly returned home early. After returning, Qin Yufei has not given Gu Yingjie a good attitude. She did not answer his phone calls and not return his text messages. He thought she was afraid of his entanglement. The truth is, he simply did not understand. She is afraid of herself. There is a feeling, there is no name for it, is her feeling for him. She thought she had forgotten him, but misses him quite deeply. Not because of sex, because of his gentleness. He reprimanded her while tolerating her. He saw through her unhappiness. He was considerate of her need to save face. He was so angry with her that he jumped to his feet but still offered to take her home when she was ill. He holds her tenderly, his big palm over her eyes, making her feel safe. If she cries secretly, no one will see. He was really a gentleman, but Qin Yufei also knew that the two of them were not suitable. Gentleman means that he is like this with anyone, gentle and considerate to every girl, passionate Prince Charming, surrounded by a group of princesses and Cinderellas. She doesn't want that, she's been hurt, she doesn't trust men. And he is simply the spokesperson for flirtatious and passionate. Look at his attitude towards sex, that's really casual. And she was too problematic in her own way, she didn't appeal to him, he had clearly said that. So they're impossible. She sees the situation clearly and quickly backs off to build a fortress. Qin Yufei threw the last piece of fried fish fillet into her mouth. Now she has her life, and he has a girlfriend. We go our own way, do not bother each other, so it's good. Everyone is fine. The following days, Qin Yufei and Gu Yingjie really did not cross paths again. They did not send each other text messages, nor did they call each other, let alone seeing each other. A month soon passed. Christmas was over, soon to be New Year's Day. Qin Wenyi has to go on a business trip for the New Year's Day holiday, and Qin Yufei decided to accompany her mother abroad. Married to a man who works too hard is really no fun. Qin Yufei's heart goes out to her mother. Her father is not at home, then she will take on the responsibility of accompanying her mother. There's another man who desperately loves to work at the end of this busy time, and he's very crazy, pressing the subordinates until they are out of breath. Everyone worked overtime. Now it is not easy to get off work, the result of taking the same elevator down. Chu Zhengqing talk about work all the way. When walking to the door of the building, he also grabbed two colleagues to continue to discuss official business. Qin Yufei was afraid of being caught by him, hurried to hide aside, while sympathetically looking back at Chu Zhengqing. The pleasure of life is like that, really miserable. Qin Yufei. Her gaze was resting on Chu Zhengqing when she suddenly heard a familiar voice calling her. Qin Yufei was startled and her whole body cells were alerted. Turning her head to look, it was really Gu Yingjie, who she hadn't seen for a long time. Looking furious, Gu Yingjie took a few big steps to her. Why don't you behave? What? Qin Yufei was confused and baffled. What was the meaning of these groundless words? I told you what kind of person he is. You should not go out with him again. What if something happens? You're an adult, not a child. Can't you take some responsibility for yourself? He was practically yelling. What person? Zhao Honghui. Qin Yufei was angry with him. This person does not differentiate between red and white. Come up just to scold is really annoying. Gu Yingjie, you understand clearly. You have no control over who I am dating. Her voice was also loud. Gu Yingjie glared at her, and she glared back. You. Gu Yingjie was angry enough with her to reach out and grab her. Qin Yufei's heart jumped, did not react. Her hand was grabbed by him. Young Master Gu, do you need something from us Yongkai? A male voice interjected. It was Chu Zhengqing. He came over. He swept a glance at Gu Yingjie and Qin Yufei's hands, did not move, calmly asked. Gu Yingjie recognized Chu Zhengqing, but he really didn't bother to be polite with him now. Private matter, he said. Chu Zhengqing smiled, looked at Qin Yufei, and politely said, then we have to ask Miss Qin if it's okay. Qin Yufei pursed her lips, knowing that the way she argued with Gu Yingjie just now had lured Chu Zhengqing over, and he was making sure she was safe. At this time her hand was squeezed hard by Gu Yingjie. She sucked in a breath of pain and glared at him. Don't squeeze me. Let's go eat. Gu Yingjie also noticed that it was really not wise to talk on the roadside, especially with this woman who could make people burn with a single word. Want to invite Mr. Chu to go with us? Qin Yufei winked intentionally. Another time, Gu Yingjie also spoke in an intimate tone intentionally. Then he turned his head to look at Chu Zhengqing. Excuse me, Mr. Chu, I have some matters to discuss with Miss Qin alone, so I will invite Mr. Chu to dinner next time. Goodbye, Mr. Chu. Chu Zhengqing didn't respond, only looked at Qin Yufei. If she didn't want to, he wouldn't let Gu Yingjie take the person away. Gu Yingjie squeezed Qin Yufei's hand again. Say goodbye to Mr. Chu. Under his glare, Qin Yufei reluctantly said to Chu Zhengqing, don't worry, I'm fine, he won't hurt me. Bye. Chu Zhengqing nodded and watched Gu Yingjie pull Qin Yufei away. Qin Yufei walked while hitting his arm, complaining, what's with your tone? I'm not a child. Don't pull me. I can walk by myself. The two walked to the car on the side of the road. Gu Yingjie pulled open the door. The palm of his hand protected the top of Qin Yufei's head, see her legs tucked properly, closed the door, and walked to the driver's seat. He pulled open the door and looked up to see Chu Zhengqing still looking at him. He waved a greeting and got in. Soon the car started up. Chu Zhengqing withdrew his gaze and walked away slowly. Gu Yingjie had calmed down by this time, and he asked while driving, where to eat. Something expensive is fine, Qin Yufei replied. Gu Yingjie gave her a glance, not asking her opinion anymore. The car drove for a while. He said, Chu Zhengqing is also better than Zhao Honghui are. What eyes do you have? Why do you want to entangle with that guy? You already know what sort of person he is. Why don't you break up? Why should I break up? Qin Yufei looked at her fingernails. Should do new nails before going on a trip. Qin Yufei, don't make me angry on purpose. You love to be angry yourself. You have to be angry even if it's not your business. Gu Yingjie ignored her, implied that he was meddling, and only asked her, tell me, why don't you break up? She is not cherish herself so much, that make him angry until almost injured internally. Just a couple of meals out, and did not do anything with him, not even a relationship, no need to break up. No more going out with him is fine. Qin Yufei replied reasonably, not looking at Gu Yingjie's handsome side face, only to concentrate on her own fingernails, seriously think about what color pattern to do, diverting attention. Gu Yingjie was choked, so she really was deliberately pissed him before. He focused his mind and got back to the point, so you're not going out with him anymore? Yes. Not only did she not go out with him, she also snickered when he called to ask her out, and threw the flowers he gave her into the trash and took a picture of them and sent him a thank you. But there's no need to tell Gu Yingjie about this. Gu Yingjie breathed a sigh of relief and calmed down. That disgusting guy told someone about how you gave him a Christmas gift. Oh. Qin Yufei nodded, and then thought for a moment, is he really okay with not seeing a doctor like that? Gu Yingjie reacted and laughed, asking her back, you're not angry? Who is he? Is it worth me getting angry over him? Gu Yingjie nodded. Okay. I apologize, I didn't get it right and treated you badly, sorry. Well, don't be like that next time. Qin Yufei pretended to put up a fight. She was given a glare by Gu Yingjie. The car traveled in silence for a while, then Gu Yingjie suddenly confirmed to her once again, you really aren't dating Zhao Honghui anymore, right? Yes. This is actually a very normal and common question, but Qin Yufei's heart beat 2 beats faster. Always feeling that there was something in his voice that caused her heart to stir, she stared at her hand and counted her fingers. What about Chu Zhengqing? He is quite good. Just now, he seems to care about you. Gu Yingjie's questions were one after another. He's my dad's type, not mine. Which type does he belong to? Career is his type of wife, woman is his type of concubine. Gu Yingjie laughed, a gentle laugh. Qin Yufei's gaze shifted uncontrollably from her fingers to his face, and he was turning his head to look at her, his eyes smiling clear and bright, knocking hard at Qin Yufei's heart. It's the first time I've heard such a description, he said. Qin Yufei could only lower her head and continue to look at her fingers without speaking. Gu Yingjie continued to drive, and after a while asked her again, what's wrong with your finger? I want to change the color. She said that he cared about her boyfriend, about her finger, and she felt quite overwhelmed with emotion. Why are you suddenly out of spirits? Does the nail color upset you so much? Now this one is quite nice. Gu Yingjie turned the steering wheel, made a turn, and it was almost arrived at the restaurant. Qin Yufei looked up at the window. She knew which restaurant he was taking her to. It was a good restaurant, very expensive indeed, in line with what she had just teased. The restaurant was gorgeously decorated, the food was exquisite, the service was good, and the setting was very romantic. She could imagine the two of them going in and the waiter leading them to a small table, and they facing each other, eating a delicious meal and finding various topics of conversation, and he would smile and would look at her. The car stopped, and Qin Yufei's heartbeat seemed to stop. She sucked in her breath hard. She couldn't help it, she really couldn't. She said, "Gu Yingjie, I don't want to eat, I want to go home." Gu Yingjie froze, quite surprised. "What's wrong?" Qin Yufei armed herself. "I don't want to eat with you. This seems to be a bit hurtful." She looked at him, couldn't say it, can only say, "Nothing, I just suddenly remembered that there are some things at home, I have to go home, you send me back to the company to pick up the car, okay?" Gu Yingjie did not say anything. He seriously looked at her face, looked at her eyes, the two people looking at each other. He knew she was lying, and she knew he knew. He didn't expose her, and she knew he wouldn't expose her. The two of them just looked at each other in silence, unable to look away. An invisible tension suddenly wrapped tightly around them. Gu Yingjie blinked his eyes, and that tension did not disappear. He gritted his teeth, finally turned his gaze to the side and said, "Okay." The tension still pressed tightly against him, and his heart began to beat faster. The two people did not speak on the way back. Gu Yingjie eyes straight ahead to seriously look at the road. Qin Yufei twisted her head to look out the traffic. Silence. But the small space is filled with magic that somehow makes them nervous. Once they arrived at the company building, Gu Yingjie stopped the car at the roadside. This is when he turned his head to look at Qin Yufei. Qin Yufei bit her lip and looked at him carefully too, then dropped her eyes quickly and said in a cheerful voice, "Then I'm leaving." "Okay. Bye Gu Yingjie, bye." Qin Yufei bit her lip again and nodded, not knowing why she nodded, and then she was ready to push open the car door. But Gu Yingjie moved faster than her. He got out of the car and went around to her side and opened the door for her. Her heart began to beat wildly again. She got out of the car and smiled hard at him. She said, "Thank you," and he said, "Take care of yourself." The two of them spoke at the same time, and the tone of their words had the feeling that they would never see each other again. Then they both froze a little and looked straight at each other. Standing beside a car door, they were very close to each other. There was tension and confusion in Qin Yufei's eyes. Gu Yingjie didn't know what was wrong with him. He seemed to be out of control. He leaned his head down towards her. When her lips brushed against her lips, Qin Yufei jumped back like a lightning bolt and her body hit the car, but she didn't cry out in pain. She didn't even look at Gu Yingjie. She turned and fled in a hurry. She quickly ran towards the building, without looking back. Gu Yingjie was shocked. Looking at her disappeared back. It took a long time to calm down. He exhaled, sat back in the car, and wiped his face. Her fears were indeed right. He really overestimated himself. Men can't be relied on, and it seems women always have intuition. He was so wrong. She was right. They should not be in touch at all. He thought he cared for her and was good to her, as a friend. He was wrong. Gu Yingjie started the car and flew away from this place. We are all adults. What things should be done, what things should not be done, the heart is clear. Can T repeat the mistake again? Thinking like that, but Gu Yingjie's heart somewhat chaotic. Again, many things are like this. It's easy to review, but it's also easy to forget about that review. New Year's Day holiday, Gu Yingjie accompanied his mothers and sister-in-law, nephew and niece to Japan for the vacation. Gu Wenguang, his daughter and son-in-law still have business to do, and will meet them in Japan in a couple of days when they are done. Gu Yingjie led 4 women and children on the trip, which was a big responsibility. He gave everyone their boarding passes, led the children through security and customs, settled everyone down in the VIP waiting room, and when he was unscrewing the mineral water bottles for the children, he heard a laughing sound, pleasant and familiar. Turning his head to look, not far to the side, Qin Yufei is hugging the arm of a gorgeous woman in her 50s and laughing charmingly. That woman Gu Yingjie recognized, is Qin Yufei's mother. Gu Yingjie's mother followed his line of sight and her eyes lit up. "Mrs. Qin." While greeting, she went over. The 2 wives of Qin and Gu are old acquaintances, met by chance at the airport, and chatted happily. The 2 children also went over and sweetly called Grandma Qin and Aunt Qin. As the accompanying nanny, Gu Yingjie also stood over. "Hi, Gu Yingjie," Qin Yufei smiled sweetly, as if she didn't remember the embarrassing incident that day. Gu Yingjie let out a sigh of relief. It was really good that she didn't mind. He greeted as usual. The two families were polite and chatty. One was going to Japan and the other was going to the Maldives. Surprisingly, they are not going the same way. Well, of course, there is no such thing as a coincidence of going to the same destination. Gu Yingjie thinks, sir, can't say whether it is a little glad or some regret, but see, Qin Yufei completely did not take his last discourtesy to heart. He is a bit happy. When it was time for Qin Yufei and her mother to board the plane, the two families waved goodbye. Gu Yingjie fed the children water, then looked back, Qin Yufei holding her mother, and they were already walking to the door. He just wanted to turn his head back, but saw Qin Yufei look back at him. Their eyes met for a moment. Then she quickly turned her head and left with her mother on her arm. Gu Yingjie also turned his head and picked up his little niece, who kept calling him uncle. Qin Yufei got on the plane and felt that her heart was still beating a little fast. Just now was really tense. She felt her face burning, afraid to reveal any breakdowns out. Luckily, looking at everyone's reaction, she should have performed very well. Qin Yufei closed her eyes and encouraged herself to cheer. Persistence is victory. As long as you hold on long enough, the feeling for him will definitely fade away. The journey was smooth and the flight went well. Qin Yufei and her mother stayed in the hotel, eating a big meal and watching the scenery, very happy. But later she received a text message from Gu Yingjie. Qin Yufei's heartbeat was unsteady again, and she clicked on it after hesitated for a long time. "Happy New Year, all the best, James." Qin Yufei froze, and then could not help but swear in her heart, FCK, stupid text message. The nervousness and excitement before clicking on the text message are all gone. This is obviously a broadcast text message for New Year's wishes. She was sure of it. Because James, this name is the name he used in his circle of study buddies and friends here, and she always only called him Gu Yingjie. Qin Yufei vigorously deleted this text message. It was really deleted in seconds. The action was quick, decisive and crisp. Damn Happy New Year. The most annoying is to send a broadcast of New Year's wishes text message, completely insincere. At this time, Gu Yingjie is soaking in the hotel bathtub. Many people replied to the text message after it was sent. He took the phone to see one by one, and delete one by one. Waiting for a night and did not see Qin Yufei's text messages. The next day there are still some text messages replied over. Gu Yingjie is still reading one by one, and delete one by one. The third day, the fourth day, Gu Yingjie finally confirmed that Miss Qin Yufei is not going to reply to him this text message. The woman with no conscience. He complained in his heart, not even a New Year's greeting, it is really too heartless. After New Year's Day, the end of the month is the Chinese New Year, and the whole month of January is very busy. Gu Yingjie did not see Qin Yufei again, nor did he hear any news from her. Because of the busy schedule, there were fewer gatherings among buddies, and no one was gossiping with him about how Qin Yufei was doing, and her name was quietly lying in his phone, that's all. In February, the end of the Spring Festival holiday, Gu Yingjie finally heard from Yingjie's mouth about Qin Yufei's story. Of course he didn't mean to pry, he just happened to go there for a drink, just to talk about holiday activities. Yingjie mentioned that his sister Yinting went to Paris with Qin Yufei and several of her girlfriends during the Spring Festival. That's all. Qin Yufei's name only appeared once. Gu Yingjie was in a good mood that night. In late February, at a meeting hosted by Gu Yinghui on new business at Huade, Gu Yingjie heard Yongkai's name. Last year, Huade had acquired 2 raw material companies and now had just finished integrating them, setting up a new company called Yingjie and adjusting its product line. Yingjie received an insider message that this year Yongkai wanted to conduct a new tender for raw material suppliers, which meant that there was an opportunity to replace Ming Rui, with whom they had been collaborating. This was an opportunity for Yingjie. The general manager of Yingjie, Wang Cheng, was the original general manager of one of the 2 companies that were acquired, and he is an old man in the industry. He was also the one who received the internal news from Yongkai, saying that Qin Wenyi had put forward a request for bidding, but because the cooperation with Ming Rui has been very stable, and the quality of Ming Rui's products and the prices given to Yongkai have been very good, and nothing has ever gone wrong, and it is a big deal to replace Ming Rui, so Yongkai is still under internal discussion. Wang Cheng reported to Gu Yinghui that he had met with Yongkai's middle management and had a preliminary understanding of their needs. He had made a detailed calculation of Mingdi's production capacity and product quality, and felt that with overtime efforts, they could also meet Yongkai's demand. It was just that they did not have an advantage in price, and the profit would be small. But Wang Cheng also said that the two newly integrated companies are not the leading companies in the industry, and they took the risk to purchase large high-end production lines in order to transform, which caused serious losses and could not operate, and now it is very difficult to open the market for the reorganized products, which also needs a lot of financial support. Wang Cheng made a chart with all the details and demonstrated it carefully in the meeting, and tried to persuade Gu Yinghui to make a decision to capture Yongkai. After the meeting, Gu Yinghui called Gu Yingjie to the office for a single chat. As soon as the two brothers sat down, Gu Yinghui laughed at Gu Yingjie. "Look, you don't have to be a hero, someone's father will naturally stand up for his daughter." The last time Gu Yingjie was injured, the elders of the family were alarmed, and he only said it was a verbal argument with someone in a bar, without saying why. But at that time, there were many people present in the fight, and eventually word got to Gu Yinghui's ears. He called his brother to ask. Gu Yingjie did not involve Qin Yufei, only that he was not comfortable with Zhao Honghui, that person, and drink too much, and do something impulsive. Gu Yinghui cared for his brother, did not say anything at the time, but the matter was recorded in the heart. Today, listening to Wang Cheng's report, Gu Yinghui is not interested in other things, but is pleased to dig sharp corner for Ming Rui. When the initial acquisition of these two companies restructuring, in reality, Huade is not interested in their business, manufacturing is not Huade's strength, blind investment to revitalize the business is not what Huade wants to do. The industry is booming, the development momentum is very good, though the two companies have serious losses, but the value is still there. Huade started to acquire first, is to consolidate it and sell it to make money. Wang Cheng has feelings for the business. Naturally, he wants the business to have good development, so that the company runs benignly. But in Gu Yinghui's heart, there are other considerations for this company. Now popped up to rob Ming Rui business, teaching Zhao Honghui a lesson. He has to discuss with his brother properly again. What do you think? If the real fight strength, of course, Yingjie is unable to fight Ming Rui, the other side leading in the industry for many years, all aspects are too strong than Yingjie. Wang Cheng is thought that with Huade financial strength, want to rely on increased investment to force performance to take orders, it is not impossible to do, just not much benefit to us, the same money invested in other business, will earn more. Gu Yingjie looked at his brother's expression and laughed. Besides, if Yongkai's list is so good to grab, other families would have grabbed it, and it's not Mingdi's turn. We can't say to Qin Wenyi that I beat Zhao Honghui that time, to help your family vent anger, so you should give us the orders. Gu Yinghui laughed out loud. It's okay to say so, you'll make a trip tomorrow. He joked about his brother. Gu Yingjie waved his hand. Stop it. Gu Yinghui laughed again, and after laughing enough, asked, then what do you think? Can't be beaten by Zhao Honghui for nothing. Mr. Gu Yinghui had somewhat forgotten that it was actually his brother who had moved first. Well, I think, Gu Yingjie was really considering seriously, to kick out Ming Rui. Relying on Yingjie is not possible, but relying on Yongkai, there is a chance. How so? Gu Yinghui raised his eyebrows. Yingjie for us is like a repackaging of goods for sale. This commodity has the technology and productivity, but the scale is limited. To be honest, even if we can take Yongkai's orders, we can only do Yongkai's orders. Once Yongkai no longer cooperate, then Yingjie has to start all over again. Yongkai has long relied on suppliers to support. They need long-term stable and controllable good sources of goods. Good sources are in the hands of large enterprises, they can only rely on the buy. We sold Yingjie to Yongkai, joint stock with them, we contribute people, machines and products, they pay. The raw material products are only supplied to Yongkai, so that Yongkai has absolute control over the source of goods and the cost is reduced, which is beneficial to them. And we sell Yingjie, sit on the profits, reduce the risk, and not against the initial intention. Gu Yingjie paused and added, If we talk in this way, the chances of winning are much better than digging the corner of Ming Rui. Both Yongkai and our Huade have long-term interests. Gu Yinghui laughed again after hearing this. RG, it seems that all your previous work was too easy. I should have delegated more responsibilities to you. Gu Yingjie waved his hand again. Stop it. What do you think? In fact, in his heart, he also wanted to kick out Ming Rui and give Zhao Honghui a little taste, not for the sake of his own business to make money, they have very enough money, he just wanted very much to get out this anger for Qin Yufei. He does not take the initiative to provoke things, but now the opportunity to send to the door, there is no reason to let go. I think it's good, very good. It's negotiable. RG, then you are in charge of this project. Qin Yufei's face flashed through Gu Yingjie's mind and he responded, sure. The matter was quickly moved forward, and after a week of preparation, Gu Yingjie and Gu Yinghui went to Yongkai to visit Qin Wenyi. As expected by Gu Yingjie, Qin Wenyi was very interested in such a cooperation model, and Zhu Wenjing even asked a lot of questions. He was in charge of the product business and was familiar with the supply of raw materials and semi-finished products, but fortunately Gu Yingjie had done his homework this week and could barely cope with it. Finally, Qin Wenyi said, make an appointment, Zhu Wenjing take people to see Yingjie, if the production conditions are suitable, then talk about other. When the Gu Yingjie and his brother finally said goodbye, Qin Wenyi suddenly said, it's RG's first time to come to our Yongkai, right? Yes. Gu Yingjie responded carefully, not knowing why, he was really a little nervous about coming this time. RG and my family Yufei are friends. Yes. Gu Yingjie was even more nervous. He had promised Qin Yufei to say that they were not familiar with each other, but now it was Qin Wenyi who was asking, how inappropriate it was for him to say that they were not familiar. Yufei's office is downstairs, do you want to go say hello? Gu Yingjie's forehead was sweating, was it impolite not to go? Wouldn't Qin Yufei be angry if he go? Better let's do it some other time. Gu Yingjie replied with difficulty. Qin Wenyi smiled and personally sent the Gu brothers to the office door. Zhu Wenjing sent the Gu brothers to take the elevator and briefly introduced the distribution of office functions on these floors of Yongkai, and also invited the Gu brothers to take a look at their factory. Gu Yinghui and Gu Yingjie agreed immediately. The elevator stopped when it passed Qin Yufei's office floor. The elevator door opened, Gu Yingjie's heart beat faster, but unfortunately, it was a middle-aged man who came in, looking out from the elevator door with a glass compartment, nothing could be seen. The elevator door closed and the elevator continued to go down. Gu Yingjie did not know whether he was relieved or disappointed. The elevator took him downward, farther and farther away from Qin Yufei.